everyone! Welcome back! Bentornati sul mio canale, or if you're new, benvenuti. My name's Katie, I live in Italy, I recently got my dual citizenship, and now here I am, living in southern Italy and making a lot of fresh pasta. One thing I love about fresh pasta is its rusticness. You know, by definition, it's not supposed to be perfect. Just call it rustic. So you might be like, all right, why should we listen to Katie about making fresh pasta? Well, you guys, I had to pass a pasta making test in order to get my citizenship. Just kidding, but I did recently take a pasta masterclass online, of course, taught by a young Sicilian woman named Alessandra. I learned so much. She does a great job of breaking it down.
What's your favorite part of teaching other people about pasta?
I just wanted to make them understand it actually is not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's like, I can do this. You can do this too. I am including a link to Alessandra's masterclass in the description box below. And I have to say here, fresh pasta and dried pasta are two different products, basically. I love them both. Dried pasta totally has its place in my kitchen. Fresh pasta is just a different beast. I have to share with you, the woman who owns the kitchen supply store here in my town, she shared with me why she prefers fresh pasta.
È ancora più buona.
Sì, perché?
Fatta a mano, perché la pasta rimane più porosa e quindi mantiene meglio il sugo ed è completamente diversa il sapore stesa con le mani, col mattarello, che con la macchina.
She told me this when I went to pick up a birch wood board. And why do I need this wooden board? Lo spianatoio. And do you need a wooden board like this? So the short answer is no. It's helpful to have a wooden board of some kind. It can just be a plain cutting board. It offers a bit of resistance when you're making the pasta. It is important to getting the ideal fresh pasta. It's really helpful.
Appoggiare su un piano.
Sì.
Sotto c'è il bordo,
sì.
che blocca al tavolo, così. Così al momento che lavori, lo impasti, fai l'impasto, non si muove.
Perfetto.
And I decided to invest in this lo spianatoio for this video so that you guys don't have to look at this ugly, kind of disgusting wooden cutting board that I have been making my fresh pasta on.
I am able to make purchases like this one, this awesome wooden pasta rolling board, thanks to the Quirky Club, my incredible Patreon community. Thank you.
You are allowing me to upgrade, and so that you all don't have to look at this janky piece of wood. And bye! All right, so let's mix this dough. We're going to make pasta with just flour and water. Maybe the most important thing is to know your dough. And more specifically, I'm referring to the hydration situation.
The hydration will be changing according to the shape and also to the flour, because yours and flours is it has its own strengths, it has on different types of hydration, absorb less or more water.
I am using semola flour, that's durum wheat flour. It's a kind of flour that's really popular, especially here in southern Italy. It's got a higher protein content than regular all-purpose flour, or in Italy that's called tipo 00 flour. You can make pasta with all-purpose flour or tipo 00. It just ends up being kind of a different product. So this is gonna be 300 grams of this durum wheat flour or semola. So I'm gonna make two doughs here of slightly different hydrations, and this one I'm going to add a bit of turmeric just to show you this fun little addition. More than flavor, it makes a visual difference. Then you can transition to just working it on the wooden board. You wanna do this until it's soft and smooth. About 20 minutes. And even if it's seeming really hard to manipulate right now, just keep working it, it will get softer. You can really see how the turmeric makes it this beautiful yellow color. It's as though we added egg yolks, but we didn't. I recommend putting on a good podcast, some good music. Speaking of podcasts, I am launching a new podcast I'm co-hosting it with the incredible Jen Pnomrat. Jen Eats Life. It is called Either Side Eaters. It's about food cultures around the world. It's gonna be so much fun. We need your questions, so you can actually submit a question to us that we will answer. A link to submit a question for us is in the description box below. The better you get to know your dough, the more you'll know if you need to add a bit more water. And all you really need to do is dip your hand in a glass of water just so your hand's wet. That's all you need. And keep kneading. Here's our dough that we're gonna let rest for a half hour, and the air is its worst enemy, so you wanna cover it. So now I'll make the other batch, a slightly smaller amount of dough and without the turmeric. And when I first started making pasta, I was like, this needs more water. There's no way. I mean, this isn't going to incorporate all of this flour. Orecchiette really wants a drier dough like this. You just have to keep working it. You keep working the loose flour into the dough ball, and you'll see it really does come together. Now we let our dough rest for a half hour. And with these, I'm going to show you how to make 3 of the most basic, but honestly, 3 of my absolute favorite pasta shapes. So the first shape I'm showing you is super, super, super basic, and in fact, it is kind of the base of other shapes to make. So that's why it's the first one I'm gonna start with. It's basically a long, fat spaghetti, and it goes by different names around different parts of Italy. The one you may have heard of is up in Tuscany called PICI. The shape, as it was taught to me in Alessandra's class, is SUCAREDDI. This is the name from the region of Sicily where Alessandra's from. So her grandma makes this, calls it SUCAREDDI, and so that's what we'll call it here. A little oil can be a nice thing to have on hand to just help with rolling it out. And rolling it out from a really fat spaghetti to a less fat spaghetti, you wanna start with your hands towards each other, kind of thumbs touching almost, and then roll simultaneously, roll them out, separating further and further apart. Sprinkle a little flour on the table near you and keep the shapes there. The reason you're putting the flour there is so they don't stick to the table, they don't stick to each other. So that's that shape, and then off of this shape, I'll show you another one called MALLOREDDUS. So you take basically that rope, and it still is a little fatter than the finished SUCAREDDI that I just showed you, and you'll cut it into small pieces, maybe about the size of your index finger nail. And then the only tool you need here is a fork. So grab a fork and roll it with your thumb on the fork. And you get this lovely pattern, these ridges that are so excellent at trapping things like pesto or different kinds of sauces. Trapping that in the ridges, it's so good. All right, and here's my favorite orecchiette. I'm partial to it really because it is so unique and specific to this part of Italy that I'm living in. The Puglia region is known for orecchiette. So again, you have your rope, you take a fingernail-sized portion, and then you take like a butter knife and press down on it, and you get this rounded shape. And then you want to invert that over your finger so that the ridged side is facing up. So this is one reason you want a less hydrated dough, is to get those ridges. When you press down, you want there to be that grab on the wood. Because of all this stuff with hydration that I keep banging on about, that is why actually environment, weather, temperature, humidity plays a big role in this. You'll get different results even if you're like, wait, I measured out the exact same water to flour ratio. So in Italian, orecchio means ear, and these are called orecchiette because they look like little ears. One of my all-time favorite dishes here in Italy is orecchiette con le cime di rapa, which is a bitter green, kind of in the broccoli rabe family. I remember the first time I made this shape, I was like, wait, really? Like, it's that easy? These are looking great. It's time to eat. Let's cook up something. If you don't want to just yet, you can put them in the freezer. You can put them in the fridge if you want to wait a day or two to make them.
Che buono. This dish to me embodies the concept of cucina povera. If you're not familiar with it, leave a comment below if you want me to do a video on cucina povera. Let me know. I could blabber on about it for a long time, but for now, I'll leave it at this. Don't forget to keep it quirky. So that's all for today. Do you like this video? Do you want to see more of this kind of thing? I could show you some shapes that require a rolling pin, il mattarello. I could show you tagliatelle maybe. And Alessandra has an amazing recipe to go with tagliatelle in her masterclass. Let me know. I want to make videos that you all enjoy and that you learn something from. So leave a comment below. Also, press that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And as always, a big, huge thanks to the Quirky Club, my Patreon community. You quite literally make these videos possible every week. So grazie mille, grazie di cuore. Happy pasta making. I will see you all back here next week. Ciao.